Porn is something we are all familiar with, have heard, or gone onto the sites ourselves. But it is really swept under the rug in today's society like it's no big deal. And we're not actually highlighting the implications that can come from an overuse of porn consumption. Now, in today's video, I will be targeting the question, does porn ruin my sex life or relationships with women or, whatever gender you're interested in? And I really want to go into the details and kind of the nitty gritty that doesn't get to be talked openly about enough in today's society. But what is not known is that a lot of men are struggling with the overuse of these sites, causing them to feel not all right in their body, in their reality, and perhaps the relationships with actual human beings are becoming lesser and lesser. Does porn ruin your guys' relationship? Well, what porn does is it allows you to feel fulfilled by other people having sexual intercourse that is pre-planned and not real. Now, this has everything to do with your now addiction to feeding a dopamine response that a woman in your life will not be able to match. How could she? When you're watching things that are very explicit, very, there's a lot of different genres, there's a lot of different things. You can probably find anything that gets you going, gets you excited on these sites. Is this a normal thing? Well, not when it comes to the women you love, not when it comes to the women that you are interacting with in a sexual way. A lot of the times men are programmed to, get off to certain things that women don't naturally want to do. Now, obviously, this is a conversation you have with your partner in the realm of sexual intercourse. What excites the other person and what doesn't? But when you are dependent on a site to fulfill all of these pleasure systems that you are rewarding by your very own participation with going back onto the sites that allow you to fulfill these needs that are actually just allowing you to feel really unsatisfied within your life. You feel satisfied for a short moment because your dopamine response is seeking what it needs for it to shut up. And a lot of people don't allow their urges just to shut up. A lot of people don't allow themselves to be present in the bedroom when they're interacting with a woman. Why? They have on autoplay all of the scenes that were able to fulfill them in the past. So when your woman is in front of you, opening herself to you, are you actually in the room with her? Or are you back home in your mind looking at a screen, imagining what all of these other women did that really got you off, and how her now, the woman in front of you, is inadequate to that? Now, this is why this video is really important for me to address, because a lot of men feel like it's no big deal that they watch porn. Obviously, if you want to watch porn here and there, I can't control anyone. But what I do want to just put into perspective is the implications that porn have when you close your laptop screen or your phone. It doesn't just leave. You're storing it. You're storing it in the back of your brain. So when you do get into interactions that stimulate that sexual response, you go back to what excited you in the past. And what excited you in the past was not real. So you're looking for these things within women. They cannot pleasure you the same way because they are actually a real human. And porn is not. Porn is just an illusion that actually allows you to feel satisfied by another person's soul being traded for your pleasure. So this is why it's really important. Obviously, porn is out there. I'm not going to be able to stop your guys' consumption. That's always up to you. But I do want to allow you guys the space in today's video to just look back on, when I have sex with a woman, what do I think about? Am I actually in the moment? How satisfied can I get with just one woman? When I'm out in public and I'm just having a normal day, how much is my sexual energy being stimulated, pre-programmed? So let's say you saw a scene of a woman and one man, whatever, and you see someone kind of who looks that same way out in public, or you're bored and you're just going back on autoplay of all of these things that excited you, you are not being fulfilled in any of these moments. You are dependent on something that is actually keeping you back from experiencing true liberation through sex. Sex is a very beautiful thing that you and another person can do and explore together. But when you are not allowing yourself to be present with the woman you're interacting with sexually, you will never be able to actually feel the sensations on your own through the woman exchanging together your guys' energetic vibration, which will charge one another to higher energies. What you are doing within porn is you're charging yourself into a lower calibration of energies that is meant to keep a man down, meant to keep a man dependent. Dependent on what? His own suffering. Now, I don't want to miss the very obvious fact that a lot of men are struggling with finding themselves sexual partners, relationships with women in today's society. And they kind of depend on porn to satisfy that human connection. What I want to bring light to as well in this video, I know I'm covering a lot, but to the men who have found themselves in a position where they feel like it's really hard to find sexual satisfaction with an actual human being, so they actually have to go onto porn sites to fulfill that connection, I want to remind you guys that that could be the very thing that is keeping you from actually experiencing a woman in your life. If you are dependent on a screen, because that's really what it is, if you have any sort of inclination to go back on a porn site, you are going back onto something that is actually allowing you to use other people to satisfy the human connection you have not found within your outside world. And your brain is actually going to wire and rewire yourself to seek unrealistic pleasure that you will never be able to experience from a woman. And I'm not against masturbation, you guys. If a man wants to masturbate and he can do it in a way that's connected to his sexual energy, and he allows his energy to come fully online and activated, and he can actually channel that through the very act of masturbation that allows him to reach higher energetics, by all means, go for it. But if you are dependent on a site that is producing that sexual energy, it's not even yours to begin with. It's a manipulation tactic that porn sites have integrated into today's society for people to depend on something outside of themselves. Maybe the same way you are feeling dependent on your sexual energy, making you feel better from being in a shitty situation you want to get out of, but you're not getting out of it because you are keeping yourself stuck in a perpetuation of these unrealistic pleasure systems being rewarded by your constant act of releasing into your reality where you don't even have a woman, seeing it manifested over and over and over again. Shame is a byproduct of blame. When there is shame in your actions, there is going to naturally be blame on the outside world for you having the shame to begin with. Take accountability for your life. See that porn will never be enough for you to feel satisfied. It's a never-ending loop that allows you to actually not be satisfied at all, even with just a human being next to you. Please be aware of this. And when you're going into your relationships, I would like for you guys to really allow yourself to harness your sexual energy, become aware of it, and see what happens in your brain. What images do you think of? Do you have to think of past pornographic scenes to get pleasure out of the woman that's in front of you? Are you setting her up for failure because you're not even present with her? Present enough where you don't even care if she gets off or not? It's all about you getting off? I had to make this video because I do talk about porn a lot in the ways that I want to bring light onto this topic. And I do just to kind of answer the question that the title provided, yes, it does. Porn is going to naturally allow your relationships to suffer, your sex life to suffer, because you're suffering in the very act of needing a screen to provide you with a pleasure system you have not accessed within yourself, or not allowing yourself to access within another woman. Let's take responsibility for these patterns. Let's allow each other to sit with what was said in today's video. And remember that porn's not real. And I swear to you, if you can just hold off from ever going back onto these sites, accessing your sexual energy from your very own power of awareness, harnessing that, feeling it in your body, without allowing that to be the attracting force that allows you to go back onto these sites that are keeping you in a loop of dissatisfaction. You can find satisfaction on your own. You can definitely find satisfaction within a relationship. And I think porn is a block for a lot of people, a block that doesn't allow them to access the higher energetics that come from you being in alignment to who you are and not fractured or dependent on something that is actually draining you from within. Sex is meant to fulfill you, to lift you, liberate you, not porn. So I hope today's video helped you guys, gave you guys a new perspective. I really do care about you guys in all the ways. So if you guys are wanting any further assistance within this area of conversation, I do offer one-on-one coaching. My email is down below, so please feel free to reach out to me so we can book a call and talk further about this. I do find it really healing to have an open space to talk about it, and move that energy out through just words is powerful. So don't hesitate to do that. If you guys like today's video, give it a like, hit the subscribe button if you've made it this far, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.